Hey, I'm Adam,
I'm Zoe,
and we
and
are
we are
Bipolar
Bipolar.
Bears. Perfect. We nailed it.
Perfect. Yeah, let's
Okay,
go.
so the theme of this show is simple. It's me and you, Zoe, talking
Mhm,
about our experiences with bipolar disorder.
mhm,
And so I thought we could start out with a sort of check-in. I've done this in the past with different groups, and it's a mood weather report. So for
mhm.
example, I'll start. Um,
Okay.
oh my God. Okay. So my mood is a bit electric, like there might be a thunderstorm coming.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's not in a sense of like, oh, I'm nervous about it, but more in the sense of like I'm excited to sit in my house and watch the lightning with a cup
Yeah,
of coffee. And so that's
yeah.
that's my mood weather report. Whew.
Okay. Yeah, no, I feel that. For me, it's do you mean just like my mood today or in general at the moment?
Um, kind of today, and you say it
Okay.
in the sense of like, oh, it's sunny with the chance of rain or something like that.
Today has been pretty good. I feel pretty stable. I'm definitely more in a good mood. I don't feel sad today. I feel super stable and like I got my shit together, which doesn't happen often. So I feel like because I just started medication, I feel like it's slowly starting to help me quite a bit.
Good. Well, okay, and
Mhm.
then so now take all that and turn it into like a weather report. So let's say I turned on the television. What
So
what
it's
what would the weather person be saying about your mood?
today's a good day. It's sunny.
It's sunny. Okay.
Yeah, it's
No
sunny
wind,
today.
no
A little
fork.
bit of wind coming in, yeah. But it's definitely more on the sunny side.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know. So we're both in a pretty good mood. And quick disclaimer, I've seen this on other podcasts and video and vodcasts that people
Mhm.
make a disclaimer before we dive in. We're not medical professionals, and none of what we say should be taken as medical advice. This is just two people talking.
Mhm.
Um, so we'll start with a definition of from the internet. You know, that's where you get things about bipolar. And I got two definitions just to kind of branch out a little bit. So, bipolar can cause extreme fluctuations in a person's mood, energy, and ability to function. And another definition is bipolar disorder is a mental health condition that causes extreme mood swings that include emotional highs and lows. And so, two questions. I want to know when you were diagnosed, and also as a follow up, how much you identify with either of those definitions. You can just go ahead and take it from
Um,
here.
I can definitely relate to it a lot now that I've been diagnosed, which was about 5 weeks ago or so. I never knew what what was happening to me. Like I knew that I felt depressed a lot of the time, and then I had like then I felt good again, and then I felt depressed again. And then also throughout the day, even in one day, I have such heavy ups and downs. So I always just assumed I'm depressed and I can work on it myself. And I did a lot of working out and going for walks and reading a lot and meditating. Meditation helped a lot though. Um, but yeah, and then I realized then well, basically I fell into such a heavy depression that I was like, I need help.
So
And
you
then I went,
really were
yeah,
experiencing those swings.
yeah, it was really, really bad. Friends had to stay on the phone with me, family.
Mhm.
Like I couldn't handle my shit, if I can say it that way. And then I went to a psychologist, and she actually told me that she thinks I'm bipolar. And then I went to a psychiatrist, and she basically confirmed it. And for the first time ever, I felt like someone was understanding me because I never quite knew what was wrong with me.
That is awesome. It actually kind of leads into the next question, which is what you felt during that when you finally got diagnosed. Like how what were you thinking and what were you feeling when that person said that?
I didn't want to identify with it too much. I was kind of like, no, that's not me. Like, even though I felt hurt, I felt like I was kind of in disbelief
Mm,
because it took this long to figure this out. But I also felt really hopeful because I was like, wow, I'm getting the help I need.
Yeah.
My only concern was really getting on medication. But
Mhm.
this is, as I've been informed, not something you can necessarily, um, you can't really help yourself with that. You can kind of do things that help it, but it will not go away on its own in most cases.
Yeah, and so in my case, some of my
Yeah.
story, I was diagnosed about 10 years ago,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things where I feel better at times and I want to
Mm,
tell myself it's going to go away, but I think it's
mm,
just a beautiful part of who I am, even though it's really dirty and grimy and
yeah.
irksome, and it makes me cringe thinking about some of the things that I've been through. I just know that I remain positive about it, I guess. So, but yeah, early on when I got diagnosed, one of my psychiatrists said, "Hey, you're gonna start feeling better on medications,
Mm,
but just stick on them, just stay on them because that's the cycle. People feel better, they go off the medications, they think they're better, and then they end up back in those places they don't want to be." And
mm,
so I really, I've stuck to that. And I think part of it is just continually working with psychiatrists and letting them know like the small things about what's going on with my body and my mood. Because a lot of these medications to me, they're not like potent. It's not like hitting a joint or taking a shot or something where you can kind of feel the immediate effect. It's a little
mm.
slower and it's like over the week you can start to notice certain things.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, so um and
My question to you,
yeah,
sorry, my
yeah, go
question to
ahead.
you would be, how did you get, like, when did you told me when you got diagnosed, but how did it come about? And how were you feeling once you got your diagnosis?
Yeah, I think so it came about when I was going through psychosis, which is associated with bipolar disorder, which just means, for anyone who doesn't know, it means detachment from reality. So I basically made a fiction story in my head and I was living it. And
Mm,
so eventually that'll break down because reality wins 100% of the time.
yeah,
And so, you know, it's hard to look back for me because I kind of disassociate a little bit of my past because it makes me like feel bad. But
mm,
I ended up in the mental hospital probably for believing in some sort of fictional story that I was living.
mm.
And
You don't remember?
I don't remember the exact date, like
Okay,
because
yeah.
it was kind of like a long and drawn
No,
out thing.
more like, do you remember what you were, like your reality at the time? Do you remember how it felt, or how
I think
did it feel more like, yeah, like
and so since
what did it feel
I
like?
actually wrote this down, I was like, since it's so long ago, it's really
Mm,
hard to,
to
and
yeah,
that's why like talking to you is really cool
yeah,
because it is jogging some of my memories and stuff. But like, it's hard for
yeah,
me
but
to
that's
like
okay.
pinpoint
That's
how I
okay.
felt at the moment. I think I felt a sense of like a little bit of shame, I guess, because
Mm,
uh it felt like I was the first one in my family to get a diagnosis, but
yeah,
in hindsight I wasn't. We have people with depression, we have people struggling with substance abuse, we have all
yeah,
sorts of people, but because the crazy nature of bipolar, the tumultuous like ups and downs, it's just hard for to like distinguish. Some people with depression might be pretty quiet and not about
yeah,
it and not really tell you about it, but with our disease, somehow it kind of like gets out.
yeah, for sure. I get that. Yeah.
How did I want to jump back to the question that you already started to answer is what do you feel the diagnosis gave you that you didn't have before? You were saying it kind of had there was like a tinge of hopefulness.
Yeah, in the sense of like just understanding myself better.
Mhm.
Um, and also knowing that there's not necessarily something wrong with me. It's just like my brain not sending the right information, um, and me then acting out and being super hyper or being super depressed. And I kind of felt like, yeah, just very hopeful to get the help that I need and to it was almost like a new beginning, a new chance at life, because the way I was living was just so exhausting.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah,
That's really hopeful, and anybody watching, I'm sure, can find hope in that statement.
yeah.
So I'm really glad to hear that, Zoe. I know that medications can be one of the harder points of a diagnosis. Have you committed yourself to just working with a psychiatrist to figure it out? Because getting through all the side effects and even living with some of them, like,
Mhm.
can be very difficult. Um, is that something you're still kind of working out with your psychiatrist, is finding the right dosages and all that?
So right now it's just about like building up my medication, like taking more and more every week or every other week. So in the beginning, I felt really heavy side effects. And then every time I go on like a higher dose, I feel like intense headaches. And that's just something I feel like you have to work through because it always gets better after I've been on it for like a week or something.
That's so cool.
Um, so yeah, so right now I'm not at the highest dose which the psychiatrist suggested for me. But I will get there and I'm already feeling better.
Right on. Um, So, a quick definition. You most definitely heard this term stigma, and it's an association with disgrace or public disapproval of something, such as an action or condition. So,
Mm.
in the world of mental health, people feel stigmatized and kind of looked at as as something that is to be disapproved. Is that something that you've experienced, or is it not at all like that?
Um, I'm not really looking at myself as a mentally ill person. As I said earlier already, I don't identify too much um, with being bipolar. Like I know I have it, but I feel like I can work through it, and it is what it is. And um, I don't know. I'm just like very. It's not that I'm detached, but I'm kind of like I'm getting the help I need and I will live a happy life with it. Like I'm very positive about it, but I'm not like feeling sorry for myself.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did struggle with the stigma, and I the way I and I'm not even sure there's a stigma anymore, just from the
Yeah.
way things are going and people talking about their experiences. And but
Mm.
when I was diagnosed, I felt semi alone,
Yeah.
and
No, I
so
get that.
I worked through it by kind of writing and sharing those stories. And that's why I was so excited when you said you wanted to do this. I was like, we
Mm.
could get
For
some
sure.
good stories. And over the weeks that we continue with the bipolar
Yeah.
bears, I was actually thinking we should get little polar bear hats
That
probably,
would be
but
so cute. I love that.
and as we continue to update each other and all the people watching, it would be it's just I just feel blessed to be a part of it. Thank you, Zoe, for doing that,
No,
for
thank you. I
reaching
really
out.
appreciate it.
Okay, on that note, if you could turn into any animal and back into your human form, what would
Hmm.
that animal be?
That's a good question. I feel like I'd want to be a whale or an elephant.
Cool. Yeah, go
What's your
sit.
animal?
I'd probably be a bird just because,
Oh, I
they can
love that.
fly. Maybe even a little bird
Yes.
because they can
Yeah.
zip around like real quick through the
Yeah.
bushes and just they can fly high.
No, for
Um,
sure.
but
I feel like I could also be a sloth,
a sloth,
like very
team
chill.
sloth. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love sloths. Yeah, sloths are pretty.
Yeah. I was actually gonna say bird at first because I totally get what you mean.
Yeah, being able to fly would be incredible.
Yeah.
It's just
No, for sure.
like amazing to think that they just live. They don't have to work. They get food where they find it. They're just
Mm.
birds are pretty like have a cushy life.
No,
Like
for sure.
a lot of other animals, they have to forage and
Yeah.
store and stuff. And birds, they find seeds where they go, or they find little bits and
Yeah.
morsels of food. And it's like what's a stressing a bird unless it's
Yeah.
like what stresses a bird in my neighborhood? Not much.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Um, well, let's go into coping skills. So coping skills are things we do to feel better and mitigate the symptoms that are ailing us. Um, how are you coping? I know that you like routine. Um,
Yeah, that's a big one for me.
I'm big one for me too. And not having a job, like keeping my routine is something that's been pretty good, I'd say.
Hmm.
In the past, it was more challenging. I'm looking for a job.
Yeah.
Um, but do you have anything you do that's kind of new or something you've been trying for a while that's really been helping?
Um, I've definitely been a big fan of a good routine for a long time because that's really what's keeping me sane most of the
Mhm.
time. I notice if I break my routine or don't sleep enough and stuff like that, I'm in a much like in a less stable state throughout the day. So I try to go to sleep at the same time, wake up at the same time, and have like a really structured day. Um, and that's just the main thing that's been really helping me. I journal, I try write down what I'm grateful for every evening. Um, I also meditate every morning, even if it's just like 10 minutes. I try to practice a lot of self-love because I feel like that's helping me quite a bit, and then going out in nature.
That's
So
awesome. That
that's my coping. Yeah.
you really have it. You really have a lot going for you there.
Yeah. What do you
Something
do?
Um, I do similar, like I structure my days similarly, but I wanted to jump
Yeah.
in real quick
Hmm.
and say that this going to sleep at the same time and waking up at the same time is actually associated and with good health. And I
Yeah.
actually know this because I applied for a job writing job just this last week that
Hmm.
required me to write a couple of example essays on
Hmm.
sleep health. And that was
Yeah.
actually a study to show that people who do that actually end up more associated with good health. So that's really
Yeah,
good that
for
you're doing
sure.
that. I'm
No,
actually
from
working on that. Oh,
yeah.
what were you gonna say?
To me, it's also sleeping before 10 p.m.
Hmm.
I noticed that if I sleep at 11, 12, I'm so like tired the next day and not feeling
Word, yeah.
good. And also, I can't really stay up at night because maybe I'm scared of it still, but when I'm up all night, I start thinking and overthinking, and
Yeah.
that's not good. And then also, I don't have social media anymore. Because if I scroll TikTok, which I used to do before sleeping,
The doom
um,
scroll.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel you there. That
Not a vibe. No.
I no, I stay when I stay up, like usually I'm in bed at like 9, 10, like you, but if I
Oh,
stay up
amazing.
past that, it's like I wake up and I'm like, what is the
Same.
world?
100%. Yeah, I feel that so much.
But things I've been doing, I guess contextually for people who are tuning in is I was recently in an inpatient stay at a behavioral hospital from
Yeah.
December 1st to the 21st, so 3 weeks. And then after that, I left with COVID, which was great. So a couple weeks of healing, and then I went into outpatient for the same amount of time, about 3 weeks. And I just left, and yesterday was my first Monday that I didn't have like structured um things to do from I was just going 9 to noon. But I did sign up for this group called NAMI, which is there's different peer-led groups. It's a National Association of Mental Health, I think.
Hmm.
And so I joined in on a call, and it was nice, and it was good to check in and have some people that have like experiences and kind of seeing like-minded things. So that's one thing that I'm gonna stick with. It's kind of like AA for people with mental
Hmm.
illness.
Yeah, that's awesome. So everyone suffers from like a similar mental illness, or
So
is it everyone's welcome? Or
there are different groups for different things, and the one I joined
okay,
was either you have bipolar or you suspect you have bipolar. So it was all people with bipolar
okay,
or people who might have bipolar.
okay. That's so nice having that sense of, community somehow, so you don't feel so alone.
Yeah, for
For
sure.
sure.
And it's
I
a
mean,
good
you're not
check-in.
alone.
I know, no, you're not alone. Anyone listening's not alone.
Yeah,
It, but other than that, which is something I'm gonna make a standard just to check in once a week. Other than that, I've been journaling. I've been
that's great.
learning guitar. I don't know if you know that. I know you're big into
That's
music.
awesome.
How's your piano
That's
going, by the way?
exciting. I love it. It's like almost like a spiritual practice to me. Like going
That's
to my honestly going to my piano classes. It's like the lady is so cute and we just like play piano and drink tea and it's like therapy to me. I love it.
that's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I pick up the guitar and it feels the same way. Just something about having the music and the sound, and it just feels whole, and it feels like the moment is closed and nothing else is allowed in. I love it.
Mm, no, for sure. How did you feel at the being a patient at the clinic? Like, what
Oh
was your
man.
experience?
I am glad I went. I'll start there, but it was
Mm-hmm.
hellish. But the thing is,
Mm,
like, I was kind of living a hellish psychosis.
mm-hmm.
In the inpatient thing, because there's pretty much no privacy. Like, I had a roommate,
Mm.
and there's like one table, big table that everyone can commune around, and then the rest is just
Okay.
like rooms, and you can either like pace the rooms, like walking around in the hallways. You can
Yeah.
sit at the table. There are courses every morning from like 9 till, I want to say, like 2. So every hour there would be like a new course. Some of it was just coloring. Some of it was talking about different coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
But for some reason, the way my brain was structured while I was in there, I was living like multiple lives at once, it felt like. So I was talking to somebody in there, but maybe I was talking to you too, like
Yeah.
Zoe, or I was talking to Tabby, or I was talking to Justin, like these are
Okay.
my family members for anyone listening. But
Okay.
so I was speaking to people in the facility, and I was also having like a second kind of line of communication.
Oh,
it
wow.
it was it was stressful. I
So it
cried a
was more
lot.
like was it like a psychosis kind of state?
It was kind of like coming out of psychosis.
Okay. Okay.
So um when I associate something to another person, sometimes I my brain doesn't delink it. You're like,
Mm,
if you go to the store tomorrow and you see someone with a gray hoodie, you
mm,
might think, oh, Adam has a gray hoodie, and that's it. And that person is that person, and I'm my person. But for me, it's
yeah.
somehow like, oh, the gray hoodie means something more. The fact that I'm seeing it now means something.
Yeah.
And that can be like okay, but when it's happening like rapid, like over and over and over, oh man. But that was happening before I went to the hospital.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I went to the
Okay.
hospital. But
Okay.
I felt safe
That's good that she
eventually.
went. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
No, I
definitely.
think it was the right choice.
I think a little pearl of wisdom that I learned from a fellow patient in there that actually changed my life. Um, she said, "This is a microcosm of the outside world. If you can find happiness and balance in here, you can do it out there." And it
Mm,
literally blew my mind. I was like, "Wait a
I
sec.
love that.
I need to stay here, and I need to figure out how to find happiness and how to find balance. Because if I can do it
Mm,
here, then I can do it at home." And so I owe a lot to this person,
mm,
um, just from that. She probably doesn't even know that that meant so much to me, but
yeah,
it literally, it gave me hope. It gave me a sense of direction, and
that's awesome.
before she said that, I was like trying to get out. I was like, I did not want to be
Yeah,
there. And then when she said that, I was like, wait, it's gonna be the same out there. Might as well figure it out in
yeah.
here.
No, that's really good advice. Would you say, just a quick question, do you have extreme highs and lows? Because for me, it's like I'm more on the depressed side. So I don't get super intense highs. I don't know, we can also get into that a bit more in detail later, but it's just like something I'm curious about.
Yeah, I used to get lows, like, and I had this moment where I said I'm never gonna go low again, because I
Mm,
was like, I had a plan, the word to end my life, just I had a plan and it wasn't. And then I thought of my cousin. She was like 7 at the time. I was like, what would that do to her? And since then,
Mm,
I was like, never gonna do that. Don't care how bad it is. Never gonna do that because I
mm,
can't put my family through that. And so my lows have kind of like somehow I've stuck to that, and my lows have
mm.
not been as low. But yeah, I do get low, but I'll never do anything about it other than just try, get through it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get
It's
that.
a good question.
I
Um,
have to quickly interrupt. My
yeah.
dog, I have a dog and he's going bananas in the background. So I need to just like take something away from him. Okay, I'm back.
Heck yeah. Rufus, hey buddy. Is there something that on along back to coping, and then we only
Mhm,
have like one more question after this, and we can just chat.
mhm.
Um, is there something that you're not doing that you've been thinking about doing as far as coping goes?
Well, definitely continue with therapy. I also want to get into behavioral therapy because I feel like that's going to help me work on my triggers.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know my triggers. Um, and I feel like working on those and healing from those is going to help me to not um, feel bad when certain things come up, apart from the general ups and downs. So continuing with that. And then, to be honest, I never Googled or um, did anything to figure out what other people do that helps them. I try to really listen to myself, and meditation helps a lot with that. Listening to what I need and following that religiously.
Okay. Um, well, sorry, a pop-up just came up. I didn't know you had to pay for Zoom if it's more than an hour or something. So
Oh,
we've
true.
got we've got like 9 minutes left, but
Mm-hmm.
that
Perfect.
actually that comes back to the coping, and that's something I want to do is
Mm.
learn to meditate. Just setting
Yeah.
aside like 10 minutes a day to just sit.
No, I think it's life changing, honestly. Obviously, when I felt bad, I didn't meditate because then you just want to lay in bed all day or you can't even function properly. But when I feel good, I definitely try to meditate as often as possible.
What's your setup? Like how do you get into that space and sit with yourself?
I just sit on my couch and I do a lot of guided meditations actually. So I have a few favorites that I can also let you know and like post them.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Just some that really, really help me.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, and I just
Well,
like tune in with myself and light a candle.
I'll keep you updated on my meditation journey because yeah,
Definitely.
it's
I'd love
funny
to
you
hear
mentioned
your
that.
feedback. Yeah. So what else do you do to cope? Like what's kind of like your favorite thing that's keeping you
I
kind of
try
stable every day?
I try to keep it like as random and simple as possible. Like I
Mhm.
work on my penmanship. So
Okay.
I'll show you uh I'll just like write the same word over and over and over
Okay.
in
That's
cursive.
cool.
And
Yeah.
so it helps me kind of like center. So I wrote full jokes, love, happiness, gratitude, and I just write it until the line ends and I work on my
Yeah.
penmanship.
Yeah. Oh,
Um
that's really interesting.
yeah,
That's
like
cool.
getting those words in, it's kind of like reps. It's like working out. Joy, I write
Yeah.
joy a lot. Um
Yeah.
Try to keep a joyful attitude.
Yeah.
Um
Did she
yeah,
get that advice from someone or did she just start doing it?
I just started doing it because in the inpatient they handed us a journal. So
Oh, okay.
I just filled
Amazing.
that journal out, and that was one of the things that I would do because instead of listening to my thoughts, I'll just listen and write them down no matter how random they are. Like, I see an egg. I like peanut butter. Like, really, just
Mhm.
like
I love
makes no
that.
sense. Like, if someone were to find my journal, so they'd read it and it'd be like cohesive for a little bit, and then they'd jump forward and be like, "What the heck is this? What is this happening?"
I love that because I get so deep in my journals, like way too deep. I'm like, wow, this is a lot. So I love that simplicity of it. That's amazing.
Yep, you should try it. You try that and I'll try meditating, and next week we'll talk about how it went.
No, for sure. That's
Um
really cool. Yeah.
so wrapping up because we are running out of time. Um is there what's something you're looking forward to this coming week? Like,
I think it's definitely therapy. I
cool.
always look forward to that because it just helps me a lot. And then just continuing with my routine, working out. I love going on long walks with my dog,
Mm.
um, doing a lot of music. That's like therapy also to me. So I'm just looking forward to, because right now I still don't have a job, which allows me to really do what I enjoy and be creative. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. What about you? We have a
I'm
little more
looking
time.
I'm looking forward to hearing back from this job I applied to. I'm looking forward
Mhm.
to getting in touch with my friend so he can teach me the next set of chords in this
Oh,
song I'm
I
learning.
love that. Yeah.
And
That's
then
awesome.
yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with what we did, what we created
Mm,
right now. And
yeah, for sure. I feel like there's so much more to say, but we're gonna unpack these things in like episodes to come.
heck yeah.
For
All right.
sure.
Well, Bipolar Bears out, I guess. Till next time.
Till next time.
Bis zum nächsten Mal.
Thank you.
Bye.